ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਡਰੱਗ ਖੇਪ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਬਰਾਮਦਗੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਜ਼ੁਕਾਟਸ ਅਧੀਨ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਾਈਜ਼ਡ ਇਨਫੋਰਸਮੈਂਟ ਬਿਊਰੋ, ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਸ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਇੱਕ ਗੁੰਝਲਦਾਰ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਡਰੱਗ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕਿੰਗ ਤੇ 11 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਲੰਬੀ ਜਾਂਚ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪਰਦਾਫਾਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਜਿਸ ਤਹਿਤ $25 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਲ ਦੀ ਡਰੱਗ ਖੇਪ ਦੀ ਬਰਾਮਦਗੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। 182 ਕਿਲੋਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਮੈਥਾਮਫੈਟਾਮਾਈਨ, 166 ਕਿਲੋਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਕੋਕੀਨ ਤੇ 38 ਕਿਲੋਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਕੈਟਾਮਾਈਨ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਾਂਚ ਤੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਗ੍ਰੇਟਰ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਏਰੀਆ ਦੇ ਪੀਲ ਖੇਤਰ ਤੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ ਦੇ ਖੇਤਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਧੇ USA ਤੋਂ ਨਸ਼ਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਜਾਣ ਲਈ ਵਪਾਰਕ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੋਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸਨ। ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ 28 ਸਾਲਾ ਜਸਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ, ਮਿਸਿਸਾਗਾ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ 27 ਸਾਲਾ ਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਬੋਪਰਾਏ, ਕੈਲਡਨ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ 38 ਸਾਲਾ ਗੁਰਦੀਪ ਗਾਖੜ, ਰਿਚਮੰਡ ਹਿਲ ਦੇ 27 ਸਾਲਾ ਰੇ IP ਤੇ ਕੈਲਡਨ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਖਲੀਲੁੱਲਾ ਅਮੀਨ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਚਾਰਜ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ। ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਜ਼ੁਕਾਟਸ ਅਧੀਨ $25 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਦੀ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ 'ਚ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਡਰੱਗ ਤਸਕਰੀ ਫੜੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਏਸ਼ੀਆ TV ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛੇ ਗਏ ਸਵਾਲ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਟਰੱਕਿੰਗ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਗਰੂਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਆਓ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ 'ਚ।
Good morning, and thank you for joining us as we share information on Project ZUCARITAS. Over the last 11 months, our Specialized Enforcement Bureau have been investigating a large-scale international drug trafficking ring. This investigation was dubbed Project ZUCARITAS. Our service led this project with support from the United States Homeland Security Investigations in Detroit and Chicago, along with the Border Enforcement Security Task Force in Buffalo. As a result of those efforts, I am very pleased to announce that our service has executed the single largest seizure in our service's history. To date, a total of 383 kilograms of cocaine, methamphetamine, and ketamine has been seized. Investigators have charged and taken into custody numerous people responsible for this investigation. Detective Sergeant Earl Scott will elaborate on those charges and the people that have been charged when he's invited to the podium. We are extremely proud of this work and our team's efforts towards addressing this type of criminal activity. This seizure now brings the total value of drugs seized by the Peel Regional Police to over $40 million in the year 2022. What you see here before you serves as more evidence of our collective commitment towards erasing organized crime and the type of organized crime which targets our communities. It is a priority for our service, our community, and we will not tolerate criminals who profit by preying on people in our community and using those profits to finance other criminal activities. And I would like to take this opportunity to share two messages. The first is for people who are struggling with addictions, who are directly or indirectly affected by addiction. We encourage you to look for help. And as a service, we will do everything we can to help you find that help. For the people who use those vulnerabilities and target our vulnerable in our community, we will continue with the type of enforcement efforts which have resulted in this seizure today in order to crack down on organized crime and hold those responsible accountable for their activities. In addition, I would like to thank the Ontario government for the funding provided through the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario. I would also really like to congratulate the women and men of our Specialized Enforcement Bureau, whose commitment and work towards improving our community safety have resulted in the seizure that you see here before you today. At this point, I would like to invite Detective Sergeant Earl Scott to the podium, where he will take you through the details of the investigation and any specifics related to that investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Good morning. I'm Detective Sergeant Earl Scott with the Peel Regional Police Specialized Enforcement Bureau and the investigator in charge of the Project ZUCARITAS team. In November 2021, we commenced an 11-month-long investigation into a trafficking ring that extended across the Greater Toronto Area and into the United States. Through our investigation, our officers arrested and charged several members of a large drug trafficking ring. Peel Regional Police have seized 383 kilograms of drugs with an estimated street value of $25.25 million. 182 kilograms of methamphetamine have been seized. 186 kilograms of cocaine have been seized, and 38 kilograms of ketamine have been seized. This investigation has led to the arrests and charges on the following individuals. Kalula Amin, a 46-year-old from Caledon, has been charged with 2 counts of of trafficking in a controlled substance. Jaspreet Singh, a 28-year-old from Brampton, has been charged with 1 count of trafficking and 1 count of possession of property obtained by crime. Ray Ip, a 27-year-old man from Richmond Hill, has been charged with 4 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking. Ravinder Bopare, a 27-year-old man from Mississauga, has been charged with 1 count of trafficking and 1 count of possession of property obtained by crime. The last party, Gurdeep Gakal, a 38-year-old from Caledon, has been charged with 1 count of trafficking in a controlled substance. This accused is currently in custody in the U.S. on a warrant issued by the Northern District of Illinois for violations of the U.S. drug conspiracy laws. I'd like to thank my colleagues in the Specialized Enforcement Bureau for their incredible investigative work and their tireless efforts, without which this wouldn't have been possible. And I'd also like to thank the assistance provided by our U.S. law enforcement partners. This concludes my update into Project ZUCARITAS, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Absolutely. I believe you're correct that drugs are becoming more commonplace and seizures are getting bigger. Peel Police and the Specialized Enforcement Bureau will do everything they can to investigate drug trafficking, and we'll continue to do that.
Sorry, I'm just going to step in really quickly and complement that answer. And really here at our service, that's why it's not just about enforcement. In Peel, as we see here today, enforcement's an incredibly important part of the response to the issue relating to organized criminal activity, which traffics drugs. But by itself, it's ineffective. You'll notice in my opening remarks, I talked about the need for people who are struggling with addiction to find help. And the reality is what we've incorporated here in Peel is not exclusively enforcement. An important piece for police to be aware of, considerate of, and invest in, but that needs to be coupled with things like prevention, social development, supporting our community, and helping people that are struggling with the addictions, which would have ultimately received these drugs, to get help. Again, another terrific question, and the answer quite simply is yes. You know, not only exclusive to drug trafficking, one of the things that our service has recognized is the way that we approach criminal activity is one part the community, of course, you know, the commitment from our members, but also a willingness of our corporate community to be engaged with us. So we regularly share prevention messages, look for opportunities to build relationships with them so that we can insulate them from also being targeted. So yes, we are doing everything we can to make sure that, you know, in this particular case, logistics companies are aware of the types of activities which they may face and pose risk to their business. And then the second part of your question, you know, the reality is, again, there are so many different approaches that people who are looking for opportunities to profit will take. And, you know, in this circumstance, we see one where people are importing drugs or bringing drugs across the border. But again, it becomes incredibly important for us to work with those communities. So we welcome any partnership with anybody in order to isolate them from those problems.